Hello my dear children, welcome you all once again to our class for the lesson in the Kingdom of Fools by A K Ramanujan. A K Ramanujan was born in the year 1929 on March 16 and he died in the year 1993 on July 13. He was an Indian poet and a scholar of Indian literature. He wrote both in English and Kannada. He was a poet, scholar, professor, a philologist, translator, and a playwright. His academic research ranked across 5 languages: English, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, and Sanskrit. We see in the lesson The Kingdom of Fools that it's a Kannada folktale taken from Folktales of India written by A K Ramanujan itself. The intention of the writer is to bring humor and wit. The story focuses on a kingdom of fools where the king and the ministers are behaving absurd. They consider day as night and night as day. Okay? By the arrival of a learned man and his disciple, they understood that it is not safe to stay where fools rule. But the disciple determined to stay back as everything is cheap for 1 dudo. Dudo is 1 rupee. Okay? So, before we get on to the lesson, the story just focuses upon the 2 questions. Who are the fools in the story and what will happen to them? And also we see that it is believed that fools are so dangerous that only wise people can manage them. So beware of dealing with this foolish people or idiot peoples. Okay. So coming to the lesson, the first paragraph. In the kingdom of fools, both the king and the minister were idiots. They didn't want to run things like the other kings. So they decided to change night into day and day into night. They ordered that everyone should be awake at night till their fields and run the business only after dark and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. Okay? So in the first paragraph, what we see here is it just talks about the story of a kingdom of fools. And here, this kingdom was ruled by a foolish king. And not only the king as well as the minister, all are considered to be idiots. Okay. So what we see here is in this kingdom, this king and the ministers has taken a decision. What is the decision? They don't want to rule a country just like the other kings are ruling. Or they wanted to have a change. And also they wanted to have a total change in the ways and look forward a drastic vital change from the other countries. So what they decided? To consider day as night and night as day. Okay? Have you come across any of the fools like this who behave just like the opposite that ordinary normal men are doing? But here even the king is also behaving just like a foolish. So anyhow, when he gave the order to the public or to his subjects, no one was there to question him because you know that already we have seen that it is very clear that we should be well aware when we are dealing with foolish people. Sometimes we cannot predict how they are going to behave like. Okay? Whatever they do, whatever they say will be what? Only foolish things. So we should take much care when we are dealing with such kind of people. Maybe that's one of the reasons why the subject of this country or the people of this country are obeying whatever it was just ordered by the king as well as the ministers. And what happened? All the people in the country just respected the order of the king. So the people were forced to do the business as well as till the farm. Till the farm here means to cultivate the field. At what time? During the night time. Can you imagine all these things in your life? You are just considering, you are just sleeping all the daytime. When the sun rises, you go to bed. Okay? And entire day you are sleeping. When the sun is about to set, you just wake up from your bed, start doing all the chores of the things that you wanted to do, just like whatever we do in the daytime, you are just forced to do in the night time. How will you feel like? Is it absurd or is it very pleasing, or do you feel like so delighted to do things like this? So anyhow, the people were forced to do all the business. Just imagine markets in the night, then going to a hospital in the night, spending the entire day among the busy people, and also people walking in the field, going and just tilling. Tilling here means cultivating the land. Then they are just sowing the seeds, reaping the harvest, everything in the night time. See, what a foolish king. He is just creating a lot of expense with regard to this change in the scenario that he wanted to be, isn't it? Even the ministers were also agreeing with what the king said. They also wanted to support the king. They are not ready to just correct the king by telling that what you are doing is so wrong. They also support they thought that we need to have a change in the attitude of our king, unlike the kings and unlike the rules of the other countries. So just what happened, the people do all the farmings at night time, and the people go to market, they go to do all the works at night time, and as soon as the sun rises early morning, they will all go back to their house for what? For sleeping, because that is their night. Their day is their night, okay, and their night is their day. Okay, this is how the change that the king made in this kingdom. Okay, and we see that this kingdom was ruled by a foolish king, and all the ministers are also idiots here. Then what happens there? Anyone who disobeyed would be punished with death. People did as they were told for fear of death. The king and the minister were delighted at the success of the project. So what happened? If any people denies the orders given by the king, they will be given punishment. What is the punishment? What is that? They will be sentenced to death. Okay? So what happened? Without questioning, already I told you that we should be very careful when we are dealing with such people. Don't try to argue with such people. They will not listen. Okay? And the people of his country knows it very clear that there is no use in just telling that what you are doing is absurd or nonsense. Nothing like that. So, they thought that it is safe for us to obey whatever rule is given by the king, because they don't want to put their life to death. Okay? So, they feared death, and all the people obeyed the order given by the king and the ministers without questioning. And the king and the ministers were very much happy. They were so delighted that, whatever policies and whatever rules that we will give, all the people will obey. And so they were very happy about it. Actually, the people doesn't want to put their life in danger. Okay, so this is how. Can you imagine a world like this or a country like this where everything is going upside down or the opposite way, just like all the things that you wanted to do in the daytime will be done by the night, and night time whatever you do, nothing, it's only sleeping, isn't it? So sleeping all day. Actually, we used to sleep in the daytime, not for the full day, but for half an hour or 1 hour, not more than that, isn't it? After that we feel so tired. Just think about the people of this country. Okay, then one day a guru and his disciple arrived in the city. It was a beautiful city. It was broad daylight, but there was no one about. Everyone was asleep. Not a mouse stirring. Even the cattle had been taught to sleep by day. The two strangers were amazed by what they see around and wandered around town till evening, when suddenly the whole town woke up and went about its nightly business. Okay, so what happened? As this rule is going on and the country was just keeping this in order, one day a guru and his disciple arrived in this country, and they were just moving around all the places, and it seems to be like this city looks very beautiful, okay, but they couldn't find anyone there, and they thought that what happened to the people all over here? They were just moving from one place to another. They can't even see anyone, even not a single animal or insect is moving there. And here we see that even the animals were trained to sleep during the daytime. And moreover, not a single sound or single movement was here. That's what it says that mouse steering. Mouse steering means not a single movement of anything was seen there. They couldn't even believe their eyes that here is a place like this. Or people just behaving so absurd here. And also, they could know that everyone, what actually going on there? All the people in the country were sleeping. Even the cattle were also taught to sleep at daytime. Okay? For them, daytime is the night. Okay? So anyhow, these people too were roaming all around in the city, but they couldn't find anyone. Okay. And the Guru and his disciple waited and wandered till evening. Here the meaning of till is up to evening. And as soon as they have seen the sunset, slowly the city becomes so active and started what? The nightly business. So at night time, they started doing the work just like what we are doing in the daytime. The shops were open, the hotels started working, then labor started going to the field for working, then the businessman runs the business at night, then all the workers started moving on the road during the night time, and you could see that all the places now was engulfed with a lot of people. And it seems to be like a daytime for the Guru and his disciple. And both of them were standing there perplexed. They couldn't understand the logic of this situation. During the daytime, everyone was sleeping. And when it became night, everyone awake. They were just busy doing the work. They are moving to and fro. They are running here and there, doing their efforts, going to the field, plowing the field, then sowing the seed, reaping the harvest. So all these things was done during which time? During the night time. Now they understood one thing. This country, the king as well as the ministers might have given the order that they should consider night as day and day as night. Okay. So that is what really happened in this country. Who understood this? The Guru and his disciple understood this. Okay. Next. The two men were very hungry. Now that the shops were open, they went to buy some groceries. To their astonishment, they found that everything cost the same, a single doodoo. Whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of bananas, it cost a doodoo. The Guru and his disciple were delighted. They had never heard of anything like this. They could buy all the food they wanted for a rupee. Okay. Now what happened? We have seen that during the daytime when all the people of the country were sleeping, only two men were awake. Who were they? The disciple as well as the Guru, isn't it? So the whole daytime they were starving, they were hungry, moving from one place to another. So when it was dusk time or evening, when city becomes so alive, they went to one nearby shop. The shops were open, isn't it? I told you. So they went to buy something for eating. And what is the magic here? Here it says that when the Guru and his disciple went to buy something in a nearby shop for eating, for just satisfying their hunger, to their surprise, they found that everything cost only one doodoo. One doodoo here means 1 rupee. Okay? Doodoo is a Kannada word. Okay? And 1 rupee. Whether it be a banana, whether it be 1 kg of rice, whether it be 1 kg of grapes or orange or whatever be. If you want anything, you can buy for 1 rupee. Wow, that's a good idea, isn't it? And if it was just bit like this in our country, we would have bought all the things that we wanted, isn't it? So these people felt like, wow, it's a good idea. We can buy anything and everything and we can eat as far as we are satisfied, isn't it? As long as we find it happy. So anyhow, the Guru understood one thing, that everything is cheap here. And one of the things is that they consider day as night and night as day. The other thing is that whatever you buy, you need to pay only how much? You need to pay only 1 rupee. It's very cheap here. Okay? So, if anyone wish to go to this country, just find a country like this and you will be happily living there. Okay? But beware of one factor, what the Guru said, beware when you are dealing with foolish people. At any moment of time, they can act weird. Okay? So anyhow, this is so delighted, the Guru and his disciple were so delighted that with 10 rupees, they can buy 10 things. Isn't it? Whatever be, the amount is not a problem. Okay? So it cost only 1 rupee. Okay. So anyhow, okay, 1 kg of rice or it's be a banana, whatever, a bunch of banana, whatever, you need to pay only 1 rupee. They find it very happy. Okay. That is the magic of 1 doodoo. That is 1 rupee. Okay then. When they had cooked and eaten, the Guru realized that this was a kingdom of fools and it wouldn't be a good idea for them to stay there. There is no place for us. Let's go, he said to his disciple. But the disciple didn't want to leave the place. Everything was cheap here. All he wanted was good, cheap food. The Guru said, they are all fools. This won't last very long and you can't tell what they will do to you next. So what happened here is once they bought the food materials or food items, they took it and they cooked it, and as they were eating, this Guru realized one thing. What is that? It's not a good idea to stay here. Okay? And it's awkward, it's not feeling good to continue living here, because you know that at any moment of time they can change their decision, they can bring new orders, and they won't be listening to the logic of intellectual people. Okay? And it's very hard to correct foolish people, because they pretend like they know everything. They are not ready to accept the fact that they are doing foolish things or they are behaving like idiots. Okay? So anyhow, this Guru said, okay, we need to leave the place immediately. Okay? And he realized that this is the kingdom of fools. That means this kingdom was ruled by a foolish king, and all the ministers along with the king were idiots. Okay? So it's unpredictable that what they will do next. So it's better to leave this place at the very instant. But we see that the disciple was not ready to leave the place, as he got what? Good food at a cheap rate. So, and we see that the Guru is taking precaution. Precaution means he wanted to get rid of from this trouble. So he instructed his disciple to leave the place immediately, as this is the kingdom of fools. But the disciple was not ready. What was the reason? Because he got the food for cheap price. What is the cheap price? 1 rupee. Buy anything for 1 rupee. Just like you can see that in front of some shops, reduction sale, and people will rush, isn't it? So definitely, if such people happen to know about a real kingdom like this, all those people will stay here, isn't it? Because they will get all the things for a cheaper price. How much rupees? For 1 rupee. Okay? So, and we see that this Guru just instructed him to leave the place at the earliest. But we see that this man, disciple, was not ready to listen to the words of the Guru. He was deeply interested only in getting good food, only for 1 rupee. The next. But the disciple wouldn't listen to the Guru's wisdom. He wanted to stay. The Guru finally gave up and said, do what you want, I'm going, and left. The disciple stayed on, ate his fill every day, bananas and peas and rice and wheat, and grew fat like a street side's sacred wool. And what we see here, once the disciple rejected or he just abused the words of the Guru left, because disciple was not ready to listen to him. So Guru thought of leaving the place and he left the place. But we see that the disciple thought of, or he took the decision to continue in this kingdom as everything is cheap. And we see that once the disciple stayed there, he was eating a lot of food every day. What is it? Rice, geese, bananas, then vegetables, fruits, everything, whatever he want. He need to have only a very little amount in his hand. For 1 rupee, he can get a full day's meal, isn't it? So anyhow, he just wanted to stay here only because of getting things cheaper here, especially for sumptuous or delicious food. Only because of that reason, he didn't obey or he didn't listen to the words of the Guru. And we see that Guru finally left the place. He doesn't want to put himself to any more troubles or any problems, because he realized that this is the kingdom of fools. So that's why the disciple doesn't want to listen, and Guru left the place. And finally we see that disciple stayed there eating a lot of food every day, and he becomes so fat like a big bull. Okay? Then one bright day, a thief broke into a rich merchant's house. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in. As he was carrying out his load, the wall of the whole house collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. His brother ran to the king and complained, "Your Highness, when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade, a wall fell on him and killed him. This merchant is to blame. He should have built a good, strong wall. You must punish the wrongdoer and compensate the family for this injustice. So, this is what happening in this kingdom of fools. One bright day, what happened? A butler entered into a rich man's house. Rich man's house is a merchant's house. So what happened? As he just sneak means without noticing, he just managed to enter into the house by making a big hole in the wall. Okay? By making that, he entered into the house. He carried a whole lot of things that he could carry. Okay? So as he was just trying to pass out or go out from the house through the hole, what happened? His head hit on the wall and the brick, what happened? Collapsed. It fell on his head, and this burglar or this person who came to steal the things from this house, he died on the spot. After looting means after taking all the things from the house, he had a big bag on his shoulder, and he had stolen everything from the house, and he was just about to run away from the house. But what would happen? All of a sudden, his head hit on the wall broke, and it just fell on his head, and he died on the spot. See, burglary is stealing. Is it a good thing for us to do? But what happened? This brother or the brother of this burglar, after hearing the death of his younger brother or elder brother, he ran to the kingdom to give a complaint against the house owner. Actually, who done the mistake? It was the mistake of the burglar or the person who went to steal the things from the house. And now, here we see that the brother of this dead burglar was giving a complaint against the house owner. For what? For not building a good wall. What is it? He straight away went to the kingdom and filed a complaint against the merchant or the house owner, rich house owner. What is it? He said that the brother of the burglar made a complaint telling that while my brother was doing a traditional job. What is a traditional job? Stealing. While he was stealing, what happened? The wall just fell down and he died on the spot. So what this merchant should do? He should give compensation for the death of this person. It seems like it's funny that stealing is not a crime there, isn't it? And the king is not thinking what the man has done. But the king is giving importance to the complaint given by the brother of the burglar who died. And he says that actually that is a traditional job. Okay? So, while he was doing that, he come across a wall, and maybe because of the lack of the skilled bricklayer or lack of making a good wall, that might have resulted in the death of this burglar. So, he wanted the king to punish the merchant and give compensation for his brother's death. Okay, the king was listening to all this complaint. He thought, yes, that was right, isn't it? And here, who is the culprit? The culprit is the merchant, because he failed to build a very good wall, or he might have not built a strong wall. Lack of strong wall resulted in the death of this burglar. Okay, so the king thought of taking action against the merchant who built a weak wall in his house. Okay, then the next paragraph. The king said, justice will be done, don't worry. And at once summoned the owner of the house. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him, what's your name? Such and such, your highness. Were you at home when the dead man burglared your house? Yes, my lord. He broke in and the wall was weak. It fell on him. The accused pleads guilty. Your wall killed this man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you. Lord, said the helpless merchant, I didn't put up the wall. It's really the fault of the man who built the wall. He didn't build it right. You should punish him. So what happened? When the brother of the burglar gave a complaint against the merchant, the king listened it very carefully and he thought that yes, what this man said was right. It is because of the merchant's fault that he failed to build a strong wall. So immediately the king, someone here means to call the merchant to the court to be questioned as well as to give the punishment. So, and also he assured the brother of the burglar that justice will be done. So, he was standing there. Immediately, the king called or asked the merchant to reach the court as early as possible. So, what happened? The merchant immediately came and the king started questioning him. Is it your wall that killed that burglar? Then the merchant said, yes, it's my wall. Last night that man entered into my house for stealing, for doing the robbery, and as he was just passing out, the wall just broke on him and he died. So the king said, yes, as long as you admit the fact, you are responsible for the death of the person. And he says that the king said that your wall killed the burglar, so you are a murderer. It's your fault for not building a strong wall, and that resulted in the death of the burglar. So who is responsible for the death of the burglar? The merchant is responsible for the death of the burglar. Okay? And now we see that this merchant was standing there. He doesn't know what to do. Immediately he said, okay, it's not me who made the wall. It's a mason, and he is responsible for building a cheap and a weak wall. He says that, please don't blame me. I just gave this order to make a wall to a mason, and he was the one who is responsible for building a cheap and a weak wall. I told him to make a strong wall, but he made it a weak wall. So who is responsible? It's not the merchant, but it's the bricklayer or the mason. Okay. So gradually we see that the king understood. The king was thinking, yes, maybe this merchant might have given the authority to build the wall to a bricklayer. So he was responsible for building a weak wall. So then what happened? Who is that? My lord, this wall was built in my father's time. I know the man. He is an old man now. He lives nearby. The king sent out messengers to bring in the big bricklayer who had built the wall. They brought him tied hand and foot. You there? Did you build this man's wall in his father's time? Yes, my lord, I did. What kind of a wall is that you built? It has fallen on a poor man and killed him. You have murdered him. We have to punish you by death. So what happened? So immediately we see that once the merchant just put all the blame upon the bricklayer, now the king thought, let me call the bricklayer. Okay? And the merchant said that I know the place where he lives. And this wall was built in my father's time also. So the bricklayer or the mason who built the wall was very old now. But I know where he lives. Okay? So immediately the king ordered his messengers to call or to someone that old man to the court. Now who is responsible? The man who built the wall was responsible for the death of this burglar. Okay? And so the messengers went to the place where this old man was living, and he was taken to the court. How he was taken? He was brought to the court with hands and feet tied, just like a culprit. You know how the accused people will be taken, putting handcuffs and all. Okay? So along with the handcuffs, the feet of the man was also tied because they wanted to make sure that he reaches the court safely without running anywhere. Okay? Otherwise the king will be angry, isn't it? So what happened? This old man was brought. Okay? So now the old man was questioned by the king. The king questioned the bricklayer about the wall, asking, are you the one who built the wall of this merchant during his father's time? Then the old man said, yes, your honor, I am the one who built the wall during the merchant's father's time. Okay? Time of his father. Then the king said, yes, then definitely you are the one responsible for the murder of the burglar, because the wall that you made fell on the man and he died on the spot. Okay, so punishment will be given to you. And the king blamed the old man for the death of the burglar and that he will be punished by death. So finally, the king made a verdict that it's not the fault of the burglar who entered the house for stealing. Then it is the fault of the merchant who built a weak wall. And the merchant, when he was called, merchant said, please don't blame me. I am not responsible. It is the old bricklayer who built this wall in a weak manner is responsible for the death of this burglar. So immediately the king thought, yes, that is right. So he thought of just sending a messenger to someone or to call this old man to the court and question him. Once he was questioned, he admitted the fact that he was the one who built the wall. And finally, the king made a decision that I need to give justice to the brother of the burglar by punishing the old man. Now the king said, yes, you will be punished by death. Okay. So I think we can stop here and we can continue the next class. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great day. God bless you.